Aloha, how y'all going? I'm sorry, it is chaos here in Casa Curtis. I'm officially and finally moving. Oh, I have wanted to move to Miami for over a year now. Like, let's rewind. I was living in Bali. Things were fine. I came back to visit. COVID happened. Yeah, so like San Diego's beautiful, love it. Have been able to surf, was able to surf and keep some sanity during COVID. Close to my doctors, got lovely chemical peels. Everything was great. It's not a bad place to be stuck, but it's just not my pace. So I went December 2020 to Jan 2021 for New Year's and fell in love. And so I've been trying to get there ever since. Finally, it's coming together. I mean, there was a wild ride of rent prices that was like, y'all are crazy. Now it's working out, and I forgot what a shenanigan it is to move. Oh man. I mean, can we just talk about car transportation right now? Those people are criminals. I've been calling so many and reading fine print. And so here's the story. You'll call people who, there's brokers and there's drivers. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get the broker. So the broker calls and says like, hey, sure, it's like $1,000 to take your car over. Okay, great. Thanks so much. I like open, closed, like carrier, fine. You like suss that out. Say it's $1,000. He's like, great. It's $100 down. It's more like $2,000 and it's like $200 down. So they take your payment, your deposit of $200, and then they'll call you back and say, oh, sorry, we underquoted you. So it's actually this much. And if you say no, they're like, okay, well, sorry, give me your deposit. And they just take your $200. Criminal. So luckily, well, I had the bright idea. There's a Bentley dealership here. I drive a Jeep. There's a Bentley dealership. So I popped over there. The guy's like, hello, welcome to Bentley. I'm like, no. Sit down. Who's driving them? Can I talk to the guy who's driving them? So I ended up talking to one of their people, and I talked to the driver. The driver was like, okay, this is how much it is. I'm like, ooh, that's a bit more. And he's like, yeah, it is what it is. And there's a 5% fuel surcharge. They think it's going to go down by then, but just like letting you know. And I'm like, this seems like a lot. Anyway, I called someone who did have a lower quote back this morning, and he just seemed shady. So I called the driver back and I was like, what is the story? This business just seems criminal. And he's the one who broke this down for me. Hallelujah. And I said, all right, well, you're probably going to get a car full with some 6-7 foot bullhorns. So, and he just started cracking up. He's like, I'll take care of them. Thank you. Oh, and I do recommend doing enclosed. My mom, like for transportation, my mom did an open one, and I've heard this a number of times. Like if you do an open carrier system, yes, they're insured, but if your car gets dings on it, like she went back and forth with the insurance people so many times, it was just ridiculous. And it's not that much more to like just have it enclosed. It's a sure thing. I like sure thing. Anyway, so now it's just a matter of moving everything or a lot of things into storage, and then I'm just going to sell everything I own as far as like couches, desk, lamps, not the surfboards. Don't touch my surfboards. But this is kind of scary. Like when everything came, it was yesterday afternoon that everything kind of came to fruition, and it was time for me to give notice. And I did not sleep but 4 hours night before last. Ay Dios. And I really hesitated. I was walking around and I had this kind of like moment where I realized how courageous I am, and it did not negate the fact that I am absolutely terrified as well. It made me cry a little, and I was just like, okay, what's that saying? See fear and rise or something like that? Feel fear and rise above it? I don't know. There's some cliche like yogi term about it, phrase. But it is very much the truth. I'm terrified. I have no idea that this is going to go well. I continue to play like pros and cons. I just know that I have to go, and I'm being called to go, and it's where I need to be. And I should be drinking a lot. But after 75 hard, it's just, that changed my perspective, and like it's been so nice to wake up clear-headed. Granted, I do wake up thinking about where every single article of clothing I have is and where it should be, and things that need to go in the van or in my car versus on a plane, or like, I mean, the wheels don't stop. So I'm taking a lot of walks. Anyway, West Girl Goes East, part 1, I guess.